which is called the Going for Refuge and Prostration practice, which some people take up when they ask for ordination. So it's usually available to people at that point in their involvement in Sri Ratna. But we'll do a kind of version of that. Reason we're doing that is because we've been talking about ancestors today, and that practice includes our ancestors in it. In fact, it includes all living beings within it. So the practice is a question of visualizing something like this. Could someone make me a co-host or something? Thanks. So this is one version of the tree. Ratna has its own. It's called a refuge tree. So this is what the visualization is. It's a visualization of a refuge tree. We're not going to do all that. It's quite I mean, in its full glory, it's quite a lot to visualize. But we'll do something sort of similar and simplified. So it's just to give you, I'm putting that there just to give you an idea of a shape, a possible shape for a refuge tree. So the idea is that the refuge tree encapsulates the three jewels: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. You've got the Buddha sitting in the middle there. You've got disciples around him, bodhisattvas, teachers, other teachers up here, sort of people like Padmasambhava, and then you've got Vajrasattva representing, awakening and in its full sense at the top. So, but what I'm going to suggest today is that that we include little bits of this, but we have the Buddha in there somewhere. If the Buddha is for us, what encapsulates our spiritual aspiration. So it's a representation, you could say that refuge tree of a spiritual aspiration. Within, in this case, within the context of, first Sri Ratna, but also the context of Buddhism. So I just wanted to say more about the ancestor part of this. So you've got the Sangha. You've got these different sort of categories, if you like, of Sangha. There's the Arya Sangha, which is those beings on the refuge tree with some kind of awakening. Of course, the Buddha. And then you've got the Sangha in general, which we may include ourselves within that. People who are trying to practice Buddhism to whatever degree. And then you've got something that's called the Maha Sangha. So the Maha Sangha can be seen to include all human beings. And in fact, even if you like, all beings whatsoever. So the idea is that with going for refuge, like that spiritual aspiration is the playing out of a fundamental longing, desire, movement that exists within the universe. So all beings want to be happy. We were talking about that in our group today, and everybody wants to be happy. People might be going about that different ways, trying to find that happiness in different ways. But that desire to be happy, I'm just using that word as a sort of shorthand, for all things sort of good and positive, as it were. yeah, so everybody in a sense wants the same thing, and everybody is struggling to find the same thing. And it's that same aspiration that brings us onto the spiritual path in one way or another. And it's the same aspiration that exists in all living beings. So in a certain way, you could say the whole universe is going for refuge. So that includes ourselves, that can include those nearest and dearest to us, that can include our friends, that can include our extended family, it can include our ancestors, because this isn't seen to be time constrained. So all 3 times, well, from a Buddhist point of view, there actually isn't a thing as 3 times, but there's just the present moment. But within that present moment, you could say all time is contained, and all time is, and all beings are ultimately in the end going for refuge. And we can include our enemies as well, or, you know, or all those people that we might put in that category of the metta bhavana. So I'm going to, you know, describe this practice as we go through it. So no need to worry about remembering anything. I'll just introduce it all. Yeah. And everybody is pointing in the same direction in this visualization, and they're pointing towards the refuge tree, which represents, you know, our highest attainment as human beings, the fulfillment of our spiritual aspirations, and sort of source of all goodness. So it can represent all those things. And shining back is the light from the refuge tree, shining back on all living beings. And as it were, that light draws us forward towards that spiritual goal. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you don't have to, I'm going to take that down now. You don't have to visualize anything like that. I'll just say the elements, and we can include those in whatever way, you know, is suitable for us at the moment where we are. So you might have, you know, you might have even something different from the Buddha in the middle of your refuge tree as representing your spiritual aspiration. Yeah. Okay. Well, with no further ado, I think we should. Time is moving forward. So I think we should make a start. And don't worry too much about, you know, visualizing, seeing things. Yeah. So it's not so much about being able to see some glorious thing in front of us in our mind's eye. That's great if that's able to happen, but it's also about the feeling of it. And, you know, some people are more visual than others. Some people are more what you call kinesthetic, you know, sort of bodily based. They might feel things in their body. Or, you know, other people are more sort of auditory based. There's all these different sensory elements, and we tend to predominate in one or the other. So don't worry too much about the actual seeing of anything. So we start meditation where we always start with posture, making sure that we are established in our posture. We have a firm base of support, stable base to the posture. Aware of our contact with the earth through the cushions or chair or whatever we're sitting on. Taking some deeper breaths if we like. Relaxing on the out breath. Becoming aware of the body. And the body means direct awareness of our tactile, sensate experience. So we can start, if we like, at the head and face. Coming into the sensations of the head and face. So awareness or attention, as it might be at this moment, is not fixed. It spends a lot of its time with the thinking mind. And it can move into all aspects of experience. It can move directly into the tactile sensate body. And we can see it like this, as if awareness is being soaked into the sensations, the bodily sensations in the head and face. It can be a wonderful source of release, even relief, for awareness to come out of the thinking mind and into direct physical experience of the body. So we'll just come down through the body in order to get ourselves grounded before we start. So we can work down, following the physical sensations down through the body. So coming from the face and the jaw, going down into the neck and throat area. But always looking for the direct tactile sensate experience in that area of the body. If we're not picking up much, that's fine. Just allow awareness to dwell in that area of the body, relaxed and receptive to whatever physical experience is there. And coming down into the upper chest, the area around the heart. Looking for tactile sensation. Allowing awareness to soak into physical sensations in the upper chest. relaxed, receptive awareness. And down to the bottom of the rib cage, where the diaphragm, the muscle that controls the breathing, large muscle that runs along the bottom of the rib cage. And looking for the tactile sensation experience. Can be quite a lot of sensate experience in this part of the body. If it helps, imagine yourself breathing directly into the area of the body where we are. This might help to contact the physical experience there. And then coming down to the lower abdomen, so the area below the navel. Allowing the awareness to sink right down into the lower abdomen. Relaxed, receptive, in touch with our direct sensate experience of the body. And taking in the body as a whole. The whole sensate body. If you're experiencing that as the cloud of sensations, include that, the tingling energies of the body. And as we were doing last night, look for the edges of the body. See whether in direct experience there is a definite edge to the body, or is that supposed edge of the body really just a mental projection? And the actual experience of the body from a direct sensate point of view is that there don't seem to be definite edges. So if that's something we feel able to see, just go with that. Notice the spacious, more empty experience of the body. So we're going to start visualizing. So all Buddhist visualizations start in the same place. And that's a vast, clear, empty blue sky. So if you are in touch with the spaciousness of the tactile body in direct experience, just allowing that to extend out all around you, extending out into this vast, empty blue sky. You might like to remember experiences of being under a blue sky, lying there on the grass looking up, the feel of the vastness, the stillness, the warmth. So in front of us, we begin to see emerging out of that blue sky a tree, a large tree with many branches. First, it just appears diaphanous, and then it becomes more and more solid. And in the center of the tree, coming out of the tree, there's a lotus flower which unfolds. And then emerging out of the blue sky, seated on the lotus flower, is a Buddha image. So this Buddha image is representing a spiritual aspiration. He represents the full unfoldment of human potential, beyond even what we can imagine at the moment. And shining from this Buddha figure is a golden light, soft, warm, golden light. That's drawing us into the Buddha. At the same time, this golden light is transforming our being, transforming all our unhelpful habits and patterns, all those things we've inherited from the past. This golden light is entering into them, transforming them, clearing them away, just leaving this clear, beautiful blue, spacious sky within us. Perfectly still, full of potentiality, of creativity. If we like, we can see other figures around the Buddha, teachers, bodhisattvas, awakened spiritual beings, actual or archetypal, or we can just stay with the figure of the Buddha. And then as we're sitting there, we begin to notice that we are not alone. But actually, there's other figures around us. So at our left shoulder is our mother, and all women. At our right shoulder, our father and all men. Or if you prefer not to be so gender specific about it, maybe they're all mixed up together. Maybe members of our family. Remembering that here in this space, we're outside of time. So figures from the past are also here. Maybe our grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins. Directly behind us are our friends, supporting us. Those people who support our spiritual aspirations. that spiritual endeavor. If it feels okay and comfortable to do this, those people we have difficulty with, we can put them in front of us. So maybe some of those people from fourth stage of the Metta Bhavana. A recognition in this that even our so-called enemies want to be happy. They want not to suffer. And behind our friends, family, ancestors, is the great mass of humanity. All human beings, of all races, colours, all nationalities, all faced towards the Buddha, towards that locus of spiritual wealth, warmth, enlightenment. And also all animals, all living beings whatsoever. All life struggling towards the light. In fact, if we want to, we can see the whole cosmos. Beings in other planetary systems, other galaxies, all facing in the same direction. So you can just sit with this and take in the light of the Buddha alongside one's family, friends, relatives, ancestors. I'll invite you, if you wish to, You can do this either by visualizing it or maybe by making some gesture that feels appropriate, something that represents an acknowledgement of that light coming from the Buddha, desire to move towards, maybe even surrender to that light. You may wish to bow, or may even wish to prostrate in the mind's eye. Whatever feels right and appropriate for you, or just sitting there and just being in the golden light. And gradually, from the back, as it were, the figures begin to fade. The cosmos as a whole starts to dissolve back into vast blue sky. Our friends dissolving back into the blue sky. Our ancestors, our families, and eventually our mother and father, and we too dissolve back into the blue sky. And there's nothing here but the golden light, the Buddha, and the golden light. And then the golden light turns into the body of the Buddha. And the body of the Buddha also starts to fade back into that vast blue sky. Clear, vast blue, still, alive. And then even the blue sky also starts to fade.